This is a story from Fox Business. Apple restricts AirDrop file sharing in China that protests have been used. You know what the timeline is? Under the latest software update, iOS 16.1.1, iPhone owners in China can only use AirDrop to receive files, images, and videos from other non-contacts for 10 minutes, according to 9to5Mac. Protests intensified in China after fire at a residential building in the western city of Urumqi left 10 people dead.
After they welded the door shut.
Yeah. Once that 10-minute window lapses, AirDrop shifts back to contacts only automatically.
Is that 10 minutes period or 10 minutes at a time?
Look at the power.
10 minutes at a time. Meaning you have a break. It's like 10 minutes, you can't do another one.
Huh.
So if I'm sitting there like AirDropping, just look what happened, look what happened, look what happened, look what happened. No. Every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes prevents things from going viral and other people seeing it. I mean, listen, China's showing the game to its people in China and Photoshop and editing sites that's showing people not wearing masks at the freaking World Cup.
World Cup,
so people have to really realize what's going on with this country. They don't believe in what you and I believe in. And when I say you and I don't mean you and I politically. 95% of people, the way you live your life, China's government doesn't believe you ought to live your life the way you're living your life. You don't share common values and principles. They don't think highly of us. They don't think we're the freedom and all that stuff that we stand for and we fight for. They don't stand for that stuff.
Well, the government of China certainly believes in capitalism, but they rule their people under the banner of communism. But they love making money and gaining power over the financial gains they've gained not only from America but from all over the world. So, you talk about the shadow banning you got on TikTok. I mean, I got it on Facebook before they took me down. And that's what they do. I mean, all of a sudden I was getting 1 million views and it was down to 500. Then it was down to 100,000. It was down to 50. I mean, it was just like you could see it happening right before my eyes. And I'm going, wow, so much for freedom of speech. And I think we never had total freedom of speech in this country anyway. It's just gotten worse.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it happened to us on any other. I think I myself can't say any of that has happened on any other apps personally, except for TikTok. I see everything else was about competing, and I know it's happened to other people, and I know a lot of people like yourself that stuff was taken down, viewership went down, et cetera, but I haven't seen it happen with us. Even YouTube, some people are like, well, Pat, let me tell you, you're shadow banned on YouTube. I don't agree. I don't think it is. I think we have to fight in the marketplace to get the message out there. I'm very confident competing with other people on YouTube. Totally get it. Our content's got to get better. We got to get better. But with TikTok, comparing to other apps, it's very obvious that there's one word you can't use with TikTok, and you cannot criticize China on TikTok. You just can't.
You know how they say the pen is mightier than the sword, right? Well, these days, social media is the ultimate pen, right? I mean, that's where you can express anything you want to say, thoughts, emojis, memes, videos, all that. I had a very enlightening experience at this Freedom Forum. Gary Kasparov, greatest chess player ever, spoke at the Vault a year ago. He invited me down to the Freedom Forum. And at the Freedom Forum, it's all just massive freedom advocates, right? From all over the world. Chinese Uyghurs and, Iranian, the lady, forgive me her name, with the hair, the one who's everywhere these days. Just complete advocates of freedom. And the most poignant example was they set up a booth, like a massive booth, probably the size of this room, and they called it the Firewall Cafe. And basically, it's sort of exposed what the Chinese narrative, like if you type something, like let's do an example right now. In Google, if you type in President Xi and Winnie the Pooh, right? Because people say he kind of looks like that, whatever. This will pop up, right? I don't know if you can see that. Just stupid images, right? Like, or if you even put in Trump, images will pop up. But in this Chinese firewall, the Firewall Cafe, if you put that into the internet in China, no images of Winnie the Pooh will show up whatsoever. So the way that they just basically segregate any type of content that would be alarming or of anything of disinformation or anything against the narrative, they show it side by side at this Firewall Cafe. And for the first time, I'm like, oh, wow, this is what America is. As much as there's shadow banning and all that, in China, it's completely blocked. And we're seeing what's happening now with these riots and protests. And I don't know where that's going to go.
They
Probably
did
nothing.
They did it in the Top Gun movie, right? They made it. Tom Cruise had a jacket on. They had the Taiwan flag or something.
Correct.
There was a flag that they disagreed with. They had to go through every single frame and remove it before they would let the movie out because they're bowing down what China's telling them to do. Because China owns, I think, basically half the movie theaters in America too. But that's a big market for American movies.
So you see the Chinese protests right now. They're just holding up a white piece of paper, right? Like you've seen this. It's just a blank sheet of paper, right? What is the significance of that? Do you know what that is exactly?
Well, they can't write anything that's against the government, so they just hold it up as a sign of saying we are against the government.
Order your Future Looks Bright hat. Click over here, and to watch the entire podcast, click here. Take care, everybody.